They're suing me for something I didn't do. It's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of fucking money.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis canceled.
You know, they just decided to pull the plug.
Jake Paul is now dealing with legal problems after Gervonta "Tank" Davis filed a lawsuit in the aftermath of a canceled fight. This situation goes far beyond a typical boxing storyline. It's become a battle involving pride, money, and damaged reputations. What was expected to be the biggest matchup of the year has instead unraveled into one of the most chaotic and embarrassing disputes the boxing world has seen in recent times.
So that fight that was supposed to go down with Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis in Miami on November 14 is not happening. It has been canceled officially.
A few months back, fans were buzzing with anticipation. Jake Paul, the loud, disruptive YouTuber turned boxer, was lined up to fight Gervonta Davis, one of the most explosive punchers in the game. With Netflix backing the event and massive money on the table, the showdown was projected to be a blockbuster, mixing elite action with a kind of big stage drama only these two could generate.
Because you have someone that we come from two different sides, like, of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing.
Then everything unraveled. The promotional posters were out, the cameras were set, the contract were finalized, and suddenly, the entire event was scrapped. Jake Paul jumped online afterward to announce what he framed as a bold and decisive decision on his part.
One of the most feared punchers in the sport of boxing. He's got a 93% knockout percentage. That's one of the best among current world champions.
It looks like you provided a paragraph. Do you want me to rewrite it to avoid copyright issues, make it more original, simplify it, or something else? Just tell me the type of edit you need, and I'll do it.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis team fights back after Jake Paul canceled the fight, went on a tirade.
But that wave of approval didn't last long. The early applause quickly shifted into uneasy chatter that kept getting louder. First, people within the promotion hinted that something wasn't adding up. Then Tank Davis camp pushed back, and soon after, veteran voices in the boxing world, people well-versed in spotting manufactured narratives, began calling out the situation for what it was. If you want it more dramatic, more neutral, or more documentary style, tell me and I'll adjust it.
I never let myself go there. You know, I'm a fierce competitor.
Tank's team is now fighting back, and they're stating that Netflix did not, in fact, cancel the bout.
The narrative Jake Paul had meticulously built began to unravel fast. Contrary to his statements, Netflix had not pulled out of the fight. Gervonta Davis coach, Kenny Ellis, confirmed the bout was still on. Jake got scared. Ellis said, short, pointed, and cutting. In that single line, Jake's moral storyline collapsed, replacing the appearance of bravery and principle with what looked unmistakably like fear masquerading as righteousness.
He has made a significant impact on the sport of boxing. He has certainly brought new eyes to the sport. He's done so much in uplifting women's boxing.
Then whispers about weight issues started to spread. The contract called for 195 pounds, but insiders claimed Jake was far from that, looking sluggish, drained, and off his usual form. The fighter who had built his image on unshakable confidence suddenly seemed exposed. Meanwhile, Tank Davis was sharpening every aspect of his game, growing faster, leaner, and more dangerous with each day. As the scheduled fight approached, it became obvious to onlookers that Jake might be walking into serious trouble. Kenny Ellis didn't hold back. Netflix hadn't canceled the bout. Jake had. He was scared. Plain, simple, and brutally clear.
They called Gervonta Davis the Tank for a reason. He only needs one shot to end the entire night.
Stop. Davis, big straight left. Down goes Boy.
Fans began asking questions they had overlooked before. If Jake's motives were truly about principle, why had he faced Mike Tyson, a former convict? Why take on Mike Perry, who had multiple domestic abuse allegations? Yet suddenly, Gervonta Davis was treated as a red line. The standard seemed inconsistent, and this particular matchup felt like an exception to every previous fight.
Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
It just pisses me the fuck off. And then
You're good. Take a break.
Suddenly, Jake's supposed moral position began to appear less like courage and more like a shield for fear. Every tweet, Instagram post, and public statement meant to defend his choice now read as simple damage control. Fans started connecting the dots. The speeches about standing up for women, the staged outrage, the perfectly timed withdrawal, all part of a calculated PR plan. Fear, not principle, had driven the narrative. And as Kenny Ellis' blunt words landed, the truth became unmistakable. Jake Paul wasn't stepping back out of ethics. He was avoiding a fight he probably knew he couldn't win. For the first time, the public saw what lay behind a carefully built facade.
Jake Paul took that and ran with it and then used it as a catalyst to stain Tank's name but not have to fight him.
By this point, Jake's reputation was at stake. He wasn't up against overhyped or washed-up opponents anymore. He was facing a legitimate threat, a world-class knockout artist focused solely on the fight, not on clicks or viral fame. The PR narrative had briefly flipped. Jake looked fearless, acting in defense of principle and standing up for women. It worked for a while, but now the story is beginning to turn back on him.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying him.
Gervonta Davis isn't staying silent. He has filed a lawsuit against Jake Paul for defamation and breach of contract, claiming that Jake's false statements caused serious damage to his reputation and finances. According to the court documents, Jake's moral stand wasn't accidental or misunderstood. It was deliberate. If Team Davis can prove that Netflix never canceled the fight, Jake could be liable for damages potentially reaching into the millions.
What else to say? I didn't want to give this woman abuser a platform to grow his fans and to grow his bank account. My company champions women. I'm so sorry to everyone involved, mostly to the undercard fighters, to my team at MVP, and to my team who works.
Coach Kenny Ellis didn't mince words. In his view, Jake wasn't standing up for women. He was safeguarding his own record. Sharp, but to the point. Ellis added that Jake's speeches about defending women were little more than a smokescreen, a PR move dressed up as morality. Past interviews and social media posts seemed to back this interpretation, showing a fighter who looked overwhelmed, panicked, and desperate to escape the situation.
Ring Magazine. Jake Paul admits he's scared and losing sleep over a Gervonta Davis fight.
Then the Netflix twist emerged. Observant fans noticed an obvious detail. Netflix had never formally announced that the fight was cancelled. There was no press release, no official statement, and their logo still appeared on promotional materials even days after Jake's claim. If Netflix had truly pulled out, wouldn't their branding have been removed right away? Their silence said it all. Tank Davis' team quickly pointed out the truth. Netflix hadn't cancelled anything. Jake had used their name as a shield, declaring the fight off before any official word had come from the company. In reality, Netflix had stayed quiet. Jake had spoken for them.
Jake Paul, the contracted weight is 195 pounds. I bet if he were to get on a scale today that he's nowhere near the fight weight. Is so many games being played.
This lies at the heart of the lawsuit. Jake Paul didn't merely back out of the fight. He publicly defamed Tank Davis, presenting himself as morally superior while implying that Netflix had canceled the event. According to Tank's legal team, this caused substantial professional harm. The fight post, sponsorship agreements, and promotional opportunities were all impacted. Lawyers argue that Jake disrupted an entire business network to protect his ego and avoid accountability. Behind the scenes, Jake's team scrambled to control the narrative. But this isn't a YouTube argument that can simply be deleted. This is now a legal battle where evidence and facts outweigh followers and social media posts.
Pull the fight, so don't blame Gervonta Davis accusations. Jake Paul has a far worse track record. Jake Paul backed out.
The contradiction is clear. Jake's supposed moral stance is falling apart. He claimed he wouldn't give a platform to fighters with controversial backgrounds, yet he previously faced Mike Tyson, Mike Perry, and others with similar histories. As Ellis bluntly observed, the timing was suspiciously convenient. The moment Jake realized he could be outmatched, he found a reason to cancel. Tank Davis' team noted, he knew our guy's record when he signed. Why act surprised now? They have a point. Jake wasn't taken off guard. He was trapped.
It was Jake Paul who found a scapegoat, kind of, and an exit strategy and got to moving.
Jake Paul, a man who built his career on spectacle, self-promotion, and controversy, suddenly cast himself as a moral authority when the stakes got serious. He had long earned from hyped-up fights, selling pay-per-views with bravado and turning trash talk into profit. But when facing Gervonta Davis, a true world-class knockout artist, he claimed the moral high ground. It's a familiar PR tactic. If victory isn't likely, reshape the story. Fear became principle. Retreat was framed as ethics. What looked like bravery was actually a calculated exit, and carefully planned exits rarely come across as heroic under scrutiny.
He's paying the beater.
Oh shit, you're right. God.
Boxing analyst ego delivered a stark reality check. If the sport barred every fighter with a criminal record, there would be almost no one left. Boxing isn't a game for saints, it's for survivors. Legends like Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather didn't reach the top through virtue alone. They were shaped by struggle, chaos, and hardship. The ring may overlook mistakes and moral ambiguity, but the courtroom does not.
Jake
That
is
bullshit.
consensual. That's the thing. It's consensual. Two consensual parties,
Well,
two
you didn't
women.
say that word.
No, I'm saying it's consensual. I'm saying these two women.
So
came
he paid
together.
women to beat on each other.
Exactly.
Got you.
Jake Sutton's show of moral posturing seemed completely out of step. His effort to place virtue above the violence of the sport conflicted with a game built on grit, sweat, and raw reality. Fans saw it. Fighters saw it. Anyone watching closely could easily see through the act.
Also, I was thinking too, maybe Tank isn't used to being the B side of a fight.
B-side. So everybody's working around his schedule, and now
When you the A side, you get to dictate things. You pick who you want. Blah blah blah. Maybe he not used to being the B side.
Jake Paul was built for the spotlight, not the octagon. Real fighters face challenges head-on. They don't pontificate about contracts or stage moral exits. They get in and fight. Now, Jake Paul is up against an opponent who isn't impressed by social media hype or PR stunts. Accountability is inevitable.
That's the thing. It's consensual. Two consensual parties,
Well,
two
you didn't
women.
say that word.
No, I'm saying it's consensual. I'm saying these two women.
So
came
he
together.
paid women to beat on each other.
Exactly.
Every brand that once aligned with Jake is now reevaluating the risk. The moral crusader image is gone. The aura of untouchable confidence has vanished. Jake Paul may have dodged punches in the ring, but here there's no referee, only lawyers, contracts, evidence, and the unblinking reality of the situation. If the court side with Tank Davis, the financial consequences alone could reach millions. Even more significant is the reputational damage. The persona of fearless bravado doesn't hold up under oath. What seemed like courage is revealed as fear and fabrication when scrutinized against the facts. The central question isn't whether Jake misled people, it's why. Was this ever about principle, or was it about fear? Fear of being exposed, fear of losing, fear of facing a legitimate opponent capable of dismantling the carefully curated image with one decisive punch.